All right, man. Salute everybody for tapping on in. Ticket TV, like, share, and subscribe as y'all come on in the building. We got to get into it, man. As Donald Trump's DOJ, his Department of Justice, is under major heat this morning because they did not release the full Epstein files. They only released 10% of the files, according to reports. And of those 10% of the files that they released, to the Epstein files, which they were supposed to release all of the files yesterday, they only released 5% of the files they released were new. The other 5% were already out there. And so this thing is getting ready to go crazy because now they're talking about seeking legal action against uh, Donald Trump's Department of Justice. You got all this different stuff going on now. It's finna get real disgusting in these streets for these lawmakers. It's about to get super disgusting for these lawmakers, y'all. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Uh, Donald Trump, he's going to have to his DOJ. You know, they're getting destroyed right now, all over social media, all over the news, and everywhere else for how they handle this. They said they've made this a personal battle with Bill Clinton by strategically releasing Bill Clinton photos, uh, mass photos yesterday to start off this thing, trying to basically do an attack and a hit piece on Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's spokesperson came out and basically spoke out against that. But basically, I want to talk about what we saw yesterday so far in these files, right? So, but this all started back in February. So that was the first phase when Pam Bondi, who was the Attorney General, uh, you know, included declassified FBI files. Then in November of this year, the House Oversight Committee released over 20,000 pages of emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. And then yesterday, when they were supposed to release all the files, every last one of them, Donald Trump's DOJ dumped over 13,000 files. Hundreds of thousands of pages are still total in the files. They only dropped 13,000, which is around 10% of what they were supposed to drop yesterday, including court records, flight logs, address books, government communications, and hundreds of photos. And shout out to uh Pensy Lola, y'all blessed. Salute to you with the donation. I appreciate it. I hope I said that right. I apologize. Uh, but yeah, man. So it says, basically the files he released yesterday, we showed y'all, were basically blacked out pages. So they didn't even release shit. They didn't release nothing. They basically blacked out damn near all the pages. So people are heated about this. Heated about this situation, right? Now it says there was over 1,200 victim names that was blacked out, and I don't have a problem with the victims' names being blacked out, but you know what I'm saying. But there was entire grand jury documents that were blacked out. That's crazy. Then, you know what I'm saying. This has been getting all types of criticism from the lawmakers, and the survivors are going off, y'all, because they're saying that Donald Trump's DOJ, yeah, they ain't being transparent. And some of them have accused Trump's administration of withholding this information in order to protect Donald Trump and his allies. Now, victims like Maria Farmer have come forward and expressed disappointment, noting that the release adds little to new justice. Now, I'm gonna give y'all some information that was dropped in these files yesterday. So basically, the files they highlighted Epstein's, web of connections to politicians, celebrities, businessmen, and others. Right, being named, right, didn't automatically say you did something wrong, but damn it, if you're in the Epstein files, and bro, if they got you in the files, come on, bro. The number one question is, what is all the hell is all these people doing around Jeffrey? Don't tell me he's a financial advisor for all these people. The hell out of here, man. So, anyways, um, people who appeared in these files yesterday so far, they featured Bill Clinton. Like, this was a direct hit on Bill Clinton yesterday. Well, he appeared extensively. Photos showed him in the hot tub. He was swimming in the pool with Ghislaine Maxwell. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Um, all these different things, right? And another woman. Also, he was seated closely with another woman on the airplane. I showed y'all that yesterday, speaking with Jeffrey Epstein and with Mickey Jagger, old ass. Now, the other images depict him on foreign trips with, you know, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, and he was also in London with Doug Banning and Kevin Spacey. Now, flight logs confirm his travels on Epstein's private jet, including to Miami, from Miami to Westchester in 2002, New York to London in 2002, a 93 White House visit by Jeffrey Epstein, and a 10,000 donation from Epstein for White House refurbishment are also been noted. Now, Clinton, he allegedly cut ties before Epstein's crimes. It's funny how all these people cut ties allegedly before Epstein got in trouble, right? He cut ties before Epstein's crimes surfaced publicly, and he has not been accused publicly of misconduct to this day. Now, Donald J. Trump appeared in this yesterday, and he only had minimal new mentions. Now, he appeared in address books, flight logs, uh, from Palm Beach to Reagan National with Marla Maples, Tiffany Trump, and a nanny, and photos with Melania, Jeffrey, and Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell. Images in Epstein's desk drawer show Trump with women, right? The one I showed y'all right there. That was in Epstein's uh, drawer, his dresser drawer, a desk drawer, I should say, in his office. This man had this in his office of Trump. Make it make sense. Jeffrey Epstein had these pictures in his office inside of his desk of the current president of the United States of America. Man, y'all, come on, man. Stop this cap. And all these people out here ducking this fucking smoke, man. They got all this shit to say about Diddy every single day. But they do. Are we going to keep the same smoke for all these other people? I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, man. You ain't gonna tell me you think all these people were around and ain't nobody know shit. Everybody disassociated with this dude at the perfect time. Man, get out of here, man. I got a bridge and got daggone Arkansas to sell you. But anyways, though, so these images that was in his desk drawer showed Trump with women. Now, court records reference allegations of Epstein preying on women, Mar-a-Lago workers in the 1990s. But Donald Trump was not accused. Now, emails from Epstein claim that Trump knew about the girls and spent hours with a victim, with Epstein saying that he could take Trump down in 2019. Epstein referenced a lawsuit alleging sexual assault by Epstein and Trump in 1994. Now, Trump banned allegedly Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago after he learned of his behavior and has denied deeper involvement. Now, Prince Andrew. Photos show a younger him with several women in Ghislaine Maxwell. Footage from across Epstein's house depicts him lying across females. Now, he settled a civil suit with Virginia Giuffre in 2022 and was stripped of his Prince title in 2025. Now, peep this. Uh, Virginia Giuffre in 2022, she got that lawsuit settled, and then she all of a sudden just passed away just recently. Not too long ago, she passed away for all this stuff popped up. Come on, man. Ain't nobody stupid, man. And they said she took her own self. Man, come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's the quickest go to. So Ghislaine Maxwell, she's in here with freaking photos of Clinton and Epstein and court records to tell her role in the sex trafficking, which is why she's doing a 20-year sentence. Also, there was naked picture of her laying down, whatever like that yesterday in the files. This stuff is crazy. Also, other celebrities that were in these pictures. Michael Jackson. He had photos with Epstein, Bill Clinton, Diana Ross, uh, Walter Cronkite. Man, he had multiple photos with Jeffrey Epstein, including 2007. He flew to Little Saint James in 2007. That's crazy. Walter Cronkite, man, that's crazy, man. Mickey old ass Jagger was in it. Diana Ross. We saw her. Kevin Spacey. We saw him. Chris Tucker. We saw him. Leon. And I told y'all about Chris Tucker. I was wondering why in the hell Chris Tucker hanging around those type of people like Bill Clinton, all of them. Then I thought about the line he had, the infamous line he had in Rush Hour, where he said, Man, what the hell she think she is? Chelsea Clinton? When he said the Chelsea Clinton line, that had to get Bill because that was Bill's younger daughter at that time. So Bill was probably rocking with Chris from then on out. So Chris probably had links at the highest level hanging around Bill Clinton. You know what I'm saying? President. So let's keep going. Also, you had Leon Black, Leslie Wexner, Sarah Ferguson, emails involving Larry Summers, critiquing elites, with Trump as a clown, and Michael Wolff advising on Trump questions, claiming Trump knew about the girls. Catherine Rumler, discussing Trump's dirty, dealings. Peter Thiel, island invitation. Steve Bannon offers to meet world leaders. Russian officials, right? This is crazy. Soon Yi Previn, right? Woody Allen's wife sharing articles. Peggy Siegel defending against Virginia Giuffre allegations. Andreas Serrano, his election views. All this stuff was in there. You got witnesses and victims, right? I'm not going to name those victims. I got to name some of them, but I ain't going to name them. But also, they had hundreds of images that were released. Many of them were uncaptioned and undated. Clinton focused, the hot tub, the pool with Maxwell on the plane, chef on the service on the trip, woman sitting on his lap photos, Epstein with Michael Jackson, Walter Cronkite, Diana Ross, Donald Trump, Melania, all those people he's in photos with so far. The FBI evidence, boxes, hard drives, CD, computers, stuffed dog, photos from Epstein's home. Now, the redactions where women's faces often blacked out for privacy, even if not confirmed as victims. The people are upset about that. Then you had an IDF sweatshirt in Epstein's closet, right? You had the flight logs, handwritten records of passengers, including Bill Clinton's humanitarian trips and Donald Trump's family flight, right? Also, you got emails. November batch reveals that Epstein's candid views Trump as dirty, elite critiques, right? Allen invites, election commentary, Russian diplomacy suggestions. No blackmail evidence was revealed so far. Now, also, they found 1996 FBI complaint detailing stolen nude photos of unders, threats, early awareness of the FBI in action for damn near a decade, and they already knew this stuff was going on. Phone messages. One quote, I have a female form, end quote. Financial records highlight Zorro Trust as a personal entity or persistent entity in the J.P. Morgan systems. Now, you're talking about 121 million, 156 million assets tied to Epstein's ranch and possible Powerball claims, right? Functioning for legal continuity post his conviction now. Um, Also, they had new insights into crimes and investigations, which was early warnings. 1996 complaint shows that the FBI knew of the bleep PORN interest, right? 2004 messages imply recruiting. Now, they also victim details, preferences for a younger girl, also payments, abuse patterns. Also, no evidence of widespread blackmail or new probes into third parties yet. Financial architecture. Structures like that Zorro Trust allow persistence despite scrutiny. Redactions apply for victim privacy, crime, Victims' Right Act, ongoing cases criticized as excessive. 119-page grand jury fully blacked out. 119 pages with nothing. So you either telling me those are all victims or they got ongoing investigations going on in the people. Which they will say that, and then the people never get prosecuted. They'll just say, "Hey, we got an ongoing investigation. We can't show any of that." But ain't none of them people ever going to get prosecuted, in my opinion, right? So Donald Trump's team is being accused of breaking the law, right? And so because they were supposed to release all the files today, but they're hiding behind Donald Trump's Department of Justice that, oh well, what happened was we're trying to make sure we protect the victims. And we got to make sure we get all the victims' names out, and make sure if there's any ongoing investigations, we take all that information out too, so that everything will be all right. Which is they nothing but burying that shit. And this, and that's all I was going to do to the printer to make the point. Okay, there's a lot more of them. We have teams across CNN going through what was released right now in terms of pages that are not quite as black as these. But the DOJ is admitting in a letter to Congress that the files are not complete, separate from the redactions themselves. And that lack of completion is a big problem because the deadline by law, thanks to Congress forcing Trump's hand on the Epstein files, is today. Now, the key Republican who is behind getting that law passed is Congressman Thomas Massie, and he's posting on social media tonight, quote, "Unfortunately, today's document released by AG Pam Bondi and Deputy AG Todd Blanche grossly fails to comply with both the spirit and the letter of the law that Donald Trump signed just 30 days ago. And Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene said, quote, "Release all the files. It's literally the law." Well, they did not, and they have not yet. The White House saying tonight that it did not receive the Epstein documents that were released by the Department of Justice before the release. So they're saying that they weren't involved with what the DOJ chose to put out today. But the Justice Department did brief the White House on what the documents contain. So what do we actually have tonight on the pages that aren't black as the country starts to shut down and check out for the end of year holiday time? We do have some apparently never before released documents, along with thousands of files that were already public, the redactions, of course, and a whole bunch of pictures of Bill Clinton. Now, among the never before released documents is this photo of Bill Clinton. He's with Epstein. Got a print out of that one as well. And then a photo of a shirtless Clinton in a jacuzzi next to another person whose face is redacted. And a photo of Clinton swimming in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and another woman whose face is redacted. Now, it's important to note Clinton has not been accused by law enforcement of any wrongdoing related to Epstein. And a Clinton spokesperson posting on social media tonight. The White House hasn't been hiding these files for months, only to dump them late on a Friday to protect Bill Clinton. This is about shielding themselves from what comes next or from what they'll try and hide forever. Now, as for Trump himself, he didn't want to talk about the files today. He refused to take questions about anything today when he appeared in public to announce a drug pricing order. Now, so Trump came out, didn't want to talk about anything. That's ironic. This clown didn't want to talk about it. President of the United States, you got this big information. He didn't want to talk about any of it. Just sat up there and made lame-ass excuses.
Today, because there's no way I can take questions that are anywhere comparable to what you just witnessed.
To be clear, what he's talking about and what we just witnessed was an announcement from Trump about drug prices. MJ Lee has been going through the files such that we have them. And MJ, look, we got these photos, we got lots of redactions, lots of things missing, but there are still, many, many pages of documents that you are able to look through. What are you learning from them?
Yeah, Aaron, as we are going through these thousands and thousands of pages of documents and photos to try to figure out what's new, what's significant, are there people of interest that we should be taking note of? You're right that this is just a partial release of the so-called Epstein files from the DOJ. And what's interesting is that Todd Blanche has essentially informed Congress as of this afternoon that this is happening in this way because of the sheer volume of the documents that we are talking about. And what he essentially communicated is that we needed more time to figure out what information needed to be redacted, including on some information that the agency got recently. Now, one thing that is interesting is that he made clear in this communication to Congress that they made a decision to withhold and redact information that goes beyond what is stated in the law. And just as a reminder, what is stated in the law is that there are 5 categories of information that can be redacted. That includes identifying information about the victims. And just scrolling through these documents, you can tell, there are photos where there is a black box over a woman's face. That clearly falls under that category. But there are other examples as well, like child sex abuse, anything that shows physical abuse, anything that could hurt an ongoing investigation, something that could hurt national security. But the fact that there are going to be more documents coming out on a rolling basis process, and that so many redactions, again, beyond what the law originally stated, is going to have huge political ramifications. And I also think we should talk about the ramifications that is going to have on the survivors, because one of the things that the survivors are very much looking for in a big picture way as they go through these files is a sense of a better understanding of why some of these internal decisions over the course of many years were made, including, what charges did the department decide to not bring on certain people? What were the decision-making processes that took place over the course of many years that they've never gotten the answer to? So this is going to be sort of a long-running process, and I can tell you with certainty that survivors are not going to be happy about what they are going to see as still the continued lack of transparency here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, MJ Lee, and everyone's here with me now. So, Barry Levine, obviously, you've been covering this for years, and you've pushed every night here for the files to be released. So the day comes, the deadline comes, and we get some stuff. We get some new stuff. We get a lot of stuff we already knew. Yeah. We get a lot of black pages. And when it comes to men, we get a lot of pictures of Bill Clinton. Yeah.
Aaron, apparently there's about 10% of the actual FBI files that were released today. And 5% of that, 5% of the 10, we already had. Okay, so we're receiving, for the most part, very little. And, it's already been playing politics in the sense of putting out pictures of Bill Clinton. You have to wonder if the DOJ has assigned Jay Clayton at the SDNY to investigate Clinton and other Democratic enemies of President Trump. Why are they showing all of these photos of Bill Clinton? You would think that would be part of the investigation. So that doesn't make any sense. We did learn that there's 1,200 victims, more than we initially thought, from the DOJ. The DOJ also said, and this is most important to me, and I think the survivors, DOJ communications on investigations into Epstein and his associates and details of any immunity deals. And so I'm looking for the FD 302 forms, which are the FBI witness reports that Representative Tom Massey says pertains to 20 men that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked these children to. And from the initial look that I made earlier, I don't see any of the 302 forms. However, we may see them in a later document dump.
I mean, Stacey, just to state the obvious here, it's just definitionally impossible that it's random what we got today, right? If you're putting out 10%, someone's making a decision on what that 10% is.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like Todd Blanche is the propped up announcer of it. But to Barry's point, it's so significant that President Trump directed Pam Bondi to investigate Bill Clinton, directly named him in a social media post along with other Democrats. And then she answered the call and appointed a U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York to investigate.
And others, yeah.
And the policy of the Justice Department is you don't release anything related to an ongoing investigation, especially photographs about the subject of an ongoing investigation. And obviously it seems to be a disingenuous subject, being Bill Clinton being ordered to be investigated at this late stage of the game. It certainly did seem targeted at the time and still does. But why would they go against their own policies and then release Bill Clinton's photos? It's kind of makes a farce of this entire situation.
I mean, it really, right, if your whole point, if you were going to hide behind an ongoing investigation, the one that you've got going is into Bill Clinton. And yet we got a whole bunch of pictures of him in a pool and a jacuzzi and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'll just add one more building block, which is that the legislation, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, actually has an exception. It says you do not have to release information if it could jeopardize an ongoing investigation. So it's not just that that's Justice Department policy. The law allows for them to actually have that.
Specific law, right, that Massey.
Yes,
law. Yes,
exactly. So it's the oddity that would be the piece that's released, and especially when the victims have named at least 20 men, and then we've only got one out of 20.
Right. And it happens to be that one. Okay, Max. So, I mean, we all get that. And obviously, everybody, if there's anything more to know about Bill Clinton, then people should know it, right? Sure. But they should know about everyone else as well. The two men behind the bill, the law that Ryan's talking about, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey, have both said this is a load of baloney. And Massey saying, basically get out of town, right? His words are that grossly fails to comply with the spirit and the letter of the law. Then you had Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, has been a regular voice on this issue, but now other issues going against Trump. Does this become like everybody jumps on board to this or no?
There are now three things that are universally approved of in politics: motherhood, apple pie, and releasing all of the Epstein files, which is what makes this so incredibly jarring, alarming, and politically stupid that the Trump administration is acting this way. They are either grossly incompetent, and that tells, look at how they're dealing with issues of affordability, or they're on the wrong side of the Epstein conspiracy, the Epstein case. Call it whatever you want. They're on the wrong side of it. I cannot for the life of me understand why they are operating this way unless they're trying to hide something on behalf of Donald Trump. This girl was forced into an arranged marriage by her evil stepmother and sister.
You married Sebastian Klein in my place. My daughter is so smart. That's a good idea. Sebastian Klein, the legitimate son of the Klein family. Isn't he in jail right now? Yep. He's a dirtbag and a good-for-nothing loser. You like the new perk Daddy just bought?
Hey, I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the network. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, there are links. Get the free membership on our website. That way you guys won't miss any of our news update stories or videos. They're all on the website, ticketvmedia.com. You go over there. You can go right to the members part and become a free member. That way you guys will get all the updates. Also, straight drop weight loss formula. Make sure y'all go tap in and copy some of that, as well as subscribing to our podcast show. Link will be pinned at the top of the chat down there below. And also, we just appreciate all y'all who support the channel. Cash App, PayPal.